Desire is the motivating force that runs the world, as little as we care to admit it in many cases. Look around you and see the effects of desire in every human act, good or bad. As a writer has said, every deed that we do, good or bad, is prompted by desire. Desire is the motivating power behind all actions. It is a natural law of life. Everything from the atom to the insect, from the insect to man, from man to nature, acts and does things by reason of the power and force of desire, the animating motive. All the above at first glance would seem to make of man a mere machine, subject to the power of any stray desire that might happen to come into his mind. But this is far from being so. Man acts not upon every desire, but upon the strongest desire, or the average of his strongest desires. This focus of your desires is that which constitutes your nature or character. And here is where the mastery of the I comes in. Man need not be a slave or creature of his desires if he will assert his mastery. He may control, regulate, govern, and guide his desires in any directions that he pleases. Nay, more, he may even create desires by an action of his will, as we shall see presently. By a knowledge of psychological laws, he may neutralize unfavorable desires and practically create new desires in their place, all by the power of his will, aided by the light of his reason and judgment. Man is the master of his mind. Yes, but some close reasoning critic may object. Yes, that is true enough. But even in that case, is not desire the ruling motive? Must not one desire create these new desires before he can do so? Is not desire always precedent to action? Very close reasoning, this, good friends. But all advanced metaphysicians know that there is a point in which the principle of desire shades and merges into companion principle, will, and that a practitioner may imagine a mental state in which he may be said to manifest a will to will rather than to merely desire to will. This state must be experienced before it can be understood. Words cannot express it. Dismiss the old negative ideas of mind and create new ones in their places. And here is how it may be done. In the first place, one must think carefully over the tasks that he wishes to accomplish. Then, using his judgment carefully, judicially, and impersonally so far as is possible, he must take mental stock of himself and see in what points he is deficient, so far as the successful accomplishment of the task is concerned. Then let him analyze the task before him, in detail, separating the matter into as many clear defined divisions as possible, so that he may be able to see the thing as it is, in detail as well as in its entirety. Then let him take a similar inventory of the things, which seem necessary of the accomplishment of the task, not the details that will arise only as the work progresses, day by day, but the general things, which must be done in order that the task is brought to a successful conclusion. Then, having taken stock of the task, the nature of the undertaking, and one's own qualifications and shortcomings, then begin to create desire, according to the following plan. The first step in the creation of desire is that of the forming of a clear, vital mental image of the qualities, things, and details of the undertaking, as well as of the completed whole. By a mental image we mean a clear-cut, distinct mental picture in the imagination. Imagination is a real thing. It is a faculty of the mind by which it creates a matrix, mold, or pattern of things, which the trained will and desire afterward materializes into objective reality. There has been nothing created by the hands and mind of man which did not have its first origin in the imagination of someone. Imagination is the first step in creation, whether of worlds or trifles. The mental pattern must always precede the material form, and so it is in the creation of desire. Before you can create a desire, you must have a clear mental image of what you need to desire. Practice makes perfect. Each time you try to form the mental image, it will appear a little clearer and more distinct, and the details will come into a little more prominence. Do not tire yourself at first, but lay aside the task until later in the day or tomorrow. But practice and persevere and you will proceed, just as clearly as a memory picture of something you have already seen. We shall have more to say on this subject of mental imagery and creation in subsequent lessons. Then, after having acquired the clear mental image of the things you wish to desire and thus attain, cultivate the focusing of the attention upon these things. The word attention is derived from the Latin word attendere, meaning to stretch forth. The original idea being that in attention the mind was stretched forth, or extended toward the object of attention. And this is the correct idea, for that is the way the mind operates in the matter. Keep the ideas before your attention as much as possible, so that the mind may take a firm grasp upon them and make them a part of itself. By doing this, you firmly impress the ideas upon the wax tablet of the mind. Thus, having fixed the idea clearly in your mind, by means of the imagination and attention until, as we have said, it becomes a fixture there, begin to cultivate an ardent desire, longing, craving, demand for the materialization of the things. Demand that you grow the qualities necessary for the task. Demand that your mental pictures materialize. Demand that the details be manifested as well as the whole, making allowance for the something better which will surely arise to take the place of the original details as you proceed. The inner consciousness will attend to these things for you. Then proceed to hold your desire in mind, firmly, confidently, and earnestly. Be not half-hearted in your purpose and desires. Claim and demand the whole thing, and feel confident that it will work out into material objectivity and reality. Think of it, dream of it, and always long for it. You must learn to want it the worst way. Learn to want it hard enough. You can attain many things by wanting them hard enough. The trouble is with most of us that we do not want things hard enough, and we mistake vague cravings for real wants or purposeful desires. Get to desire and earnestly want the essence of the thing just as you demand, and desire your daily meals. That is what we mean by wanting it the worst way. People live for food, water, sunshine, love, and more. Your purpose and the desire of your true place is demanding expression inside of you. Your spirit is seeking natural unfoldment. Schools of philosophy, notably that founded by Schopenhauer, have postulated the presence of a universal spirit, whose chief attribute is desire will, from whom the universe of creatures has proceeded. This universal spirit is held to be filled with a longing, craving, seeking, striving desire to express itself in phenomenal existence. Schopenhauer calls it the will to live. It is described as instinctive rather than intellectual, and as creating intellect with which to better serve its purposes of self-expression. Other philosophers have proceeded along the main lines of the concept of Schopenhauer with various modifications. The same idea is expressed by some of the old Vedic, Taoist, or Buddhistic philosophers, the very term Tao being used to express the essential nature of the universal spirit. But it must be noted, in such philosophies, the universal spirit is considered rather as the eternal parent than as its first manifestation. In the same way, a certain school of thinkers postulate the existence of a living nature, which expresses itself in innumerable living creatures and things, all things in the universe being held to possess life in some form and degree, as indeed the Rosicrucian creatures also hold. Accordingly, even in today's attitudes where science, philosophy, and religious metaphysics cross paths, most have acknowledged that purpose, natural expression, mission, and finding your true place are all major factors in self-expression and spirit manifestation. Where a person's true purpose is frustrated, reactions take place, and most people are guided and again redirected by their burning desires toward their highest ideal of creativeness and function.